I'm in the offices of Brighton and Hove Community Radio, which is a charity radio founded by the very versatile Susi Oddball, who is my guest today. Hello, Susi.
Hello, Jilliana Ranicar-Breese.
That's right, you got it. And we work together on the radio on a particular program called Your Voice Matters on Fridays at noon. But Susi has done many, many things in her life. She's multi-talented. Tell me all the different things you do, Susi.
I've got different hats on through my life.
That's right.
When I was younger, I was a teacher, what you'd call reasonably formal special needs teacher.
Right.
And I was also a juggler.
Yes.
A single parent twice.
You're
two
a clown.
different marriages.
You're a clown.
I'm a clown too, and also a writer and a poet.
Absolutely.
I'm also a performer.
Performance
in
poet.
many different ways.
Yes.
Not just poets, but
Yeah.
Cabaret, all sorts of different things like that.
Yeah.
I attempt to play the violin.
Yeah.
And
You're a member of
I'm
a
a
group.
radio presenter.
Yes.
Mustn't forget that.
Oh, no.
Educational director for the Brighton Hove Community Radio. And I have also I'm a therapist too, which a lot of people don't know.
Oh, and masseuse. You're a masseuse.
I do reflexology. I've got a bit of a foot fetish, so reflexology is ideal for me. I'm also a aromatherapist and a Swedish masseur and sports therapist.
Good heavens.
And I do other things too.
Good God.
Some people would disapprove, but I'm also a dowser. And I also like laughing.
That's for sure.
I love music. I love
Yes,
listening to
yes.
music. I'm a great supporter of bands. I've got a lot of bands that I support that you would hate, Jilliana.
I know. I've heard them.
And I love folk music too.
And you also are deeply involved with people with special needs, giving them a chance on the radio. Your own daughter, in fact.
We'll come back to that because
Yes.
there's a whole story.
Of course.
Of
Well, let's start at the beginning.
I think that's a good idea.
Yes.
Okay. Well, in the beginning, I was born. No, my mum was pregnant when her husband left her, my dad.
Right. So she was in
And
shock.
so she was in a pretty poor state. And so when she had me, I was pretty weak.
Yes.
I was called a miracle child by the doctors. I had a doctor who wanted to adopt me.
Good
Because
God.
in those days, single parents were pretty much looked down upon then.
Yeah.
And I think
what years were
I was
we
born
talking?
in 1954.
Right. Okay.
So it was just after
there
the
was
war.
a stigma. Yes.
Yeah, there was a total stigma.
In London. Was it
Not
in
only in
London?
London, it was
No.
all over.
Where were you born?
I
Was it London?
I was born in Tottenham Court Road Hospital, University College Hospital.
Okay.
I think that is just about within the sound of Bow Bells. All my family came from places like Bethnal Green.
The East End.
And I was being brought up in Islington.
Right.
Now, when I was born, I was deaf and I was blind. And I don't tell a lot of people that.
No, amazing.
Within a few years, I was able to see and hear through operations.
Right.
But when I was first born, they called me the miracle child because they gave me 2 weeks to live, basically.
Good God.
And I lived through those weeks. And then, as I said, the doctors wanted to adopt me.
Yeah.
I had, even then, at that age, someone gave me a teddy bear and I screamed the place down. I had a thing with textures, very sensitive to textures.
Gosh.
And I believe that teddy bear that someone gave me, I was sensitive to the texture, which is why I screamed.
Good heavens.
I had that teddy bear till I was about 16, and then I gave it to my nephew and said, "This is a very special teddy bear."
And what was the teddy bear called?
I think I named it after my grandfather, Herbert.
Herbert the teddy.
And I had a doll called Sandra as well, who I loved. So anyway, I gave it to my nephew, and told him to look after it, and he said yes, yes, yes.
And he did?
And apparently he swapped it with a car within a week.
Oh.
Anyway, I never saw it again. So I never saw Herbert.
I had a cat all my life called Perkins, P-U-R-R-K-I-N-S. And in fact, I had Perkins, and he disappeared when I came to Brighton.
Oh, that's really sad.
I don't know what happened. And he had 2 green eyes, two buttons for his eyes. I think my mother knitted him. Oh. And I've got poly photos. No, I haven't got them anymore, but there were poly photos with me holding Perkins.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, we had dogs at home, not cats. Yeah.
We had dogs, actually, in my early days. So I'll tell you a little bit more.
Yeah.
I was brought up in London, in Islington, and because my mum was a single parent, the first thing, my brother and my sister, they went to a boarding school up in Hawley, and
which is in Sussex.
Yeah, which is in Sussex. So my memories of Brighton, my earliest memory was going on convalescent in Butlins at Saltdean.
Oh.
I went to convalescent there. I later found out that my Aunt Mary went to, my mum went to a TB place in Sussex too, in Brighton. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my early childhood was in hospital mainly, in and out of hospital. And by the time I was 5, I was kind of cured of most things. And I went to school in a school called St Catherine Laboure, which was in Herbal Hill in Farringdon. And it was chosen for me because it was the only school where the caretaker was willing to look after me while my mum was at work.
Was it a boarding school?
No, it was a day school,
right,
and that's the reason why was the caretaker was willing to look after me. It wouldn't happen nowadays.
No.
While my mum was at work.
And what did your mum do?
My mum worked for an organisation called the Racing Pigeon Publishing Company, with Colin Osman and Major Osman, who she first worked for, and she was a receptionist there. And there's a lovely story later on where she fell in love with the manager, called Walter Martin, and eventually, when in their older age, they lived together.
Oh.
But they used to go on all these wonderful holidays later.
Yeah.
I think he was such a gentleman. He didn't even he did ask her out, and she said no. But he was such a gentleman. He didn't really even come round to our house till we were about 10 and 11, until I was about 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So he's very, very nice mum.
Right.
Anyway, so having no dad, I did a lot of being quite a renegade, and I lived in a council estate in Islington and had a great time there. Got into trouble and got out of trouble. And
what kind of trouble, Susie?
Well, I genuinely, with my friends, was selling raffle tickets for a pram. But what I didn't realise, because my friends hadn't told me, was the pram was a really old pram. So we sold all these raffle tickets and we got into terrible trouble, and I ended up with a visit to the police station. And I came home in a black Mariah, and because I was a very skinny child, my mum got accused of underfeeding me. So she actually woke up my brother and my sister, and she sort of said to the police woman, and said, "Do these children look underfed?" And of course they didn't. They were much fatter than I was. But I was a very lazy, skinny eater. But I had a big mouth instead, so I might be little.
That's for sure. Yeah. That's for
and
sure.
I still have.
Yes. But you've got
so
lots
that
to say.
Me. So I went to St Catherine Laboure till I was 11. I took the 11 plus twice and passed.
Okay.
And then I went to a boarding school, all girls Catholic boarding school.
Okay, we're going to come back to you, Susie, for part 2. Okay.